Hey, what's up, guys? This is Cypher Slacker, and if you are here after me checking out that laughably bad brand new trap card for the Yusei structure deck, it's horrendous. So we're gonna go ahead here and we're gonna look at some of the cards, and I mean this is just kind of like a cards that I have here that are options. You don't have to pick them, but by the end of this, we're gonna have a solid core here. It's just gonna be a core that will work. You can kind of plug in hand traps as you see, or if you want to play a certain number of synchrons. If your goal is to play one of each level synchron, you can do that. You can cut it to like maybe two. But I just can't get over how bad that new trap is. Like, it's laughably bad. If that was a spell card, that would be an automatic probably three of, but it isn't. So we're gonna go ahead and look at with the new Sonic Chick. Okay, that enables Stardust Synchron to be a genuinely decent one card combo. And a lot of the stuff in the extra deck here is just Yusei Fudo good stuff. So I'm actually probably going to say ignore that. If you want to play more competitively, ignore that, and then we're gonna make a quick core real quick and just look at what some of the best cards are. So we're gonna look at the one card combo straight up. So we've got Stardust Synchron and we've got Full Speed Warrior. So I'm gonna go ahead and just nix everything that is not a one card combo, so that way we can see. So we got three Stardust, three Full Speed, three Synchro Fellows. Tuning. The on your market set duel is optional. Like I said, I'm gonna cut out the rest of these cards real quick. So we're looking at about 16 one card combos that all lead to Junk Speeder. With Stardust Synchron, you normal summon that card, and or you can use it as an extender. So if you follow 037 Wolf, Leo, dude knows his shit. So um, I typically like to follow, like, because I play so many decks, I like to follow smaller like YouTuber channel. I'm not saying that his channel is small, like, not. I'm not trying to like offend him. I don't mean it like that, but like I like to follow smaller channels. Like I follow Loza for Dark Magician. I follow Xmas Hero for Hero. Like I like to follow smaller channels because I feel like they offer a lot more insight than you're gonna get off of like a bigger channel. So for example, just looking, I know Stardust Synchron is a really solid one card combo. Full Speed Warrior, solid one card. Synchro Fellows, tuning. On your market set duel, I think that's kind of like it's gonna be player preference. I mean, do we really need two cards to do the same? I mean, if you want to. I'm probably gonna play it because I have the QCR of it. Um, yeah, I'm I'm one of those guys where, like, if I can play a QCR of a card, I think I mean that's why I kind of had Quick Draw Synchron here, because I'm like, it does have a QCR. I mean, it has literally no application except for helping you get into Junk Warrior Extreme. That could pretty much be his only application. So, but anyway, so Stardust Synchron becomes a one card combo because of the new Sonic Chick card. Full Speed Warrior was already a one card. Synchro Fellows was probably our first one card, and then Full Speed Warrior, I it didn't become a one card until like Scrap Warrior and the new Scrap Synchron. But the way that I like to deck build, at least for this kind of deck, because there's so many pieces to it. I mean, there's so many things in this freaking deck that are, bricks. So you kind of have to balance your one card, your two card, and your brick. So these are one cards. We're gonna look at the two card combos now. Junk Synchron, I think, is something that kind of has to be played at two, because I mean we could get away with one, but because of Scrap Warrior, the way that like you have to like configure with Synchro Fellows is if you open up Full Speed, you have to search Synchro Fellows. You then have to pitch the Junk Synchron to keep the Scrap Synchron. So I mean, it's not amazing, but you know we needed it too for that reason. I also think that we can play Junk Converter it too. You don't really want to see this card, I guess, because you have tuning, and then you have uh on your market set duel at three. But at least with Junk Converter, if you open Junk Converter plus like any Synchron, you're you're guaranteed like to get to this because at least with him, you can activate it, put him in grave, and then that stops your opponent from being able to ash the speeder. Yeah, they can still imperm and Baylor it, but it also kind of helps just have another avenue of play if you normal summon him later in the game. I honestly was on Synchro Overtake at 3, but now I feel like because, I mean, when this deck first kind of got the structure deck announcement, my logic was, I was looking at Junk Synchron as the main normal summon of the deck, but it's kind of got pushed to like the peripheral, um, because you want to normal summon this guy or you want to normal summon this guy. You want to normal summon either one of these two. And typically, whenever I build decks, I like to look at the main normal summon at 3 and then the secondary at 2. But the reason I'm playing 3 Stardust is because it's a 1 card combo and it's also a decent extender. So, like, if you open up both of these, you just go full speed, and then if full speed gets hit, you just go for the Stardust Synchron. Um, it's really kind of easy to like make. So 1 card and then extender, pretty solid. See what else we've got here. But for the Synchrons, oh wait, we gotta add Sonic Chick because the Sonic Chick is what enables a lot of the 1 card combos. Without her, it would kind of be absolutely useless. Scrap Synchron is something I think you could definitely play at 2. Doesn't need to be, but um, you open up Full Speed Warrior with Scrap Synchron, you're gonna go pretty far. You can get into the Scrap Warrior, and then you're pretty much have a decent 2 card line. So let's take a look at the different Synchrons that we can put in this deck. You have Wheel. Wheel is an option. Um, I know it's not the most competitive option, but I'm just gonna kind of list some of the options here for our Synchron lineup. For our level 5, we have Wheel. For our level 4, you have Stardust already kind of in the deck. You have Revolution at 3, not super mandatory, but he is decent because then you can mill something from the top of your deck, summon him back as a level 1. So he has utility. You have Assault, which you can summon that back off of the ASD if you want to. And then, I mean, depending on the type of board that you make, if you're playing a more competitive list, like don't pay attention to this extra deck because that's not at all what this is. More of a casual extra deck list. Um, but in a more competitive list, you can get the Shining Majestic, and then when Shining Majestic banishes itself, you can banish this to summon it back, i.e., making him 2 negates. Um, so again, another option. Jet Synchron is also an option. I mean, you have Scrap Synchron, but you're probably like if you get to the Scrap Synchron, you're going to probably just have the Scrap Synchron in your hand and use it as a way to get to the Scrap Warrior, or I mean, you can summon it off of the junk speeder, as a level 1. I mean, even if you draw the Jet Warrior, but that's the problem with a lot of these is like, yeah, if you want to play the deck where you summon like 5 off of junk speeder, that's cool, but then you're sacrifice like you're probably gonna see these in your opening hand. You're not gonna see all of them because they're at 1, but like you're gonna have hands where you see a couple of these, and it's gonna cause you to brick. So again, I'm gonna leave them here. Totally up to you. 100% optional. Um, but they are there. And we're gonna look at some other cards real quick. We're gonna look at the Star Dust Trail. I definitely think the Cheese mandatory. You should probably play her at 1. The Anchor Bolt Hedgehog is something that, if I could spell Anchor, um, the Anchor Bolt Hedgehog is definitely a niche play. If it's something, if you want to play it, you can. Um, but I think it. But okay, and that's what I hate about the structure deck is I feel like at first you wanted to play this because you pitch it off of Synchro Fellows, but now we have this. You have a little bit better of a line than you had with this card, so it's like I don't know what they were going for with this. I really just I don't understand it at all. Um, so the next card we want to look at is Stardust Illumination. That's something that you definitely want to play at least one. Um, and for this sync, like if you do end up playing the Crimson, okay, you have Synchro Rumble, you have Synchro World, and then you have Synchro over. Is it Overtake? Yeah, over top. So you do have some options here with which Synchro card you want to play, kind of to fit your build. Um, Synchro Rumble is just a revival level 7 uh, dragon, which is awesome. Sorry, level 7 or 8 dragon, which is awesome because then you could just recover your ASD and then keep going. Synchro Overtop is an interesting one because it recovers the ASD but makes it level 1. So then you can kind of get into your Cosmic Quasar if you want, and then go into these guys. It makes these more accessible. Again, I think it's based like player preference for sure. But I would pick one of these. I wouldn't pick three. I'm just kind of putting them in the build here, just as we go. Definitely gonna need something like Called by the Grave. Splash that in. Um, the Duelist Genesis is something that I think might be decent as a one of, because I mean it's definitely situational. Where like if, for example, you normal summon full speed warrior and it gets ashed, okay, cool. Um, you can maybe like, or sorry, I take that back. So if you go full speed warrior, because he's not a tuner, this card needs a tuner. If you go for full speed warrior and it gets ashed, but you have something like Scrap Synchron in hand, or you can get to the Stardust Synchron and you have Duelist Genesis, you can go Stardust Synchron to send the full speed, get this out, and then you can use this to get to Stardust, and then if you happen to have Duelist Genesis in hand, you can use this to get to Synchro Fellows. So it's just kind of there. I feel like I like it as something to kind of like play around hand traps. Just it's kind of like an answer to hand traps. Um, since we have the chick now, I do think that we could play the one for one. I mean, like just look at that artwork though. Like, I mean, you have that like that is actually like the most adorable thing ever. You have the Quillbolt hedgehog that's dying and it's reviving the Sonic chick. Like we're killing the hedgehog to get the chick, which is actually pretty cool. A nice little like nod there. But I wouldn't I didn't have this card in my deck until we got the Supersonic chick, and I'm like, okay, we got the confirmation of it. What the hell? Let's run it. Um, the sad thing is whenever I was making my core earlier, I had 3 spots left open. I'm like, I want to leave 3 slots. That way, when we get that blast card and it's a banger, I can run. And I'm like, nope, actually no. So we're gonna kind of leave this open ended here. The extra deck is gonna be a completely different video, but um, when you're making this deck, again, you don't have to run all of these. These aren't meant to be, all ran. These are just a lot of options. So what I'm actually going to do is, since we've seen the video, we're going to just delete everything. It's not a one card, and just kind of leave the one card combos here for you guys to look at. And then honestly, if I were you, I would just start with the one card and then build out from there. But that's just kind of the way that I deck build. So guys, Slifer Slacker out.